Om. 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 Sairam, everyone. Just to recollect where we are in the study of Sathya Sai Vahini, we are in chapter 10. Swami is talking about various forms of yoga, and at the moment we are studying the section related to Raja Yoga. I think we looked at the last section where Swami is sort of concluding the Raja Yoga part. There were two questions which were posed, which we said we will discuss today. One was from Sister Vani related to formlessness and how it reconciles with this. I think Brother Sivadas has already spoken about it, but we did not have any detailed discussion from others. The second question was from Sister Shivani, how this ekagrata applies to even our worldly life. She was talking about ADHD and things like that, so we can discuss those today. We will still read the section once in English at least, and if there are, so that it will set the tone for the discussions. Maybe we should revisit the Telugu also once, if Auntie is okay. Okay, Sairam, Sister Kalyani says yes.
Concentration will enable one, whoever he is, whatever the activity he is engaged in, to finish it much better than otherwise. Whether in material assignments or in ordinary day-to-day work or in spiritual sadhana, concentration of mental energies is a must if success is to be achieved. It is the key that can open the treasure chest of jnana. This is the most important aspect of Raja Yoga. It can even be said that it is the only important aspect of that yoga. Millions of unwelcome, unwanted, unnecessary, and even harmful thoughts enter our mind and confound their activities. These have to be kept out. The mind has to be guarded and controlled and kept under our rigorous supervision. Raja Yoga is the one refuge for persons endeavoring to win this victory.
Okay, thank you very much, Kalyani. Auntie, shall we just read the Telugu also once?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Sairam. ఈ కేంద్రీకరణ శక్తి ఎక్కువ కొలది జ్ఞానార్జనము అధికమగుచుండును.
When this focusing ability or the power increases, the understanding of jnana or receiving of jnana increases.
జ్ఞానార్జనకు ఇదియే ఏకైక మార్గము.
This is the one and only path or means for receiving of jnana.
ఎట్టివాడైనను తను చేయ పనిపై మన శక్తిని కేంద్రీకరించినచో ఆ పనిని మిక్కిల బాగుగా చేయగలడు.
Whoever one is, by increasing the focus or the ability to concentrate, they'll be able to accomplish whatever activity in a very good way.
లోక వ్యవహారము అందైనను లేక ఆధ్యాత్మిక మార్గం అందైనను ఏ ఇతర విషయములందైనను ఇతర కార్యములందైనను ఏకాగ్రత అధికమగు కొలది కార్యములందు అంత అధిక ఫలమునందు కొచ్చవచ్చును.
Whether it's worldly activities or whether it's spiritual pursuits, in any other matter and in any other activity, by increasing the focus or ability to concentrate, the fruits which will be achieved will be very high.
ఆ కార్యము కూడాను చక్కగా నిర్వహింపబడును.
Now, that activity also will be executed in the best way possible.
జ్ఞాన ధనాగారమును తెరువవలసిన తాళం ఇదియే.
The key which opens the lock for the jnana is this one.
కేంద్రీకరణ శక్తియే రాజయోగమున మంచు వంటిది మంచు వంటిది ఇది ఒక్కటే అని చెప్పక తప్పదు.
This is the snow peak of the Raja Yoga. It has to be stated. We cannot miss stating it.
Excuse me, Arun, this is మంచు వంటిదిனா என்ன சொன்னார்?
Manchu and last week we discussed. Manchu means it is snow. It's a snow peak.
మంచు
That's yes.
వంటి.
So that's first we.
మనకు అక్కర్లేని తలంపులు కోట్లకు కొద్ది బుద్ధిలోనికి చొరబడి దానిని తబ్బిబ్బ చేయును.
So millions of thoughts enter the buddhi and trouble the buddhi, or it makes it stop functioning.
We can confused also. తబ్బిబ్బ చేయును.
Confused, yes. Confuse the buddhi.
దానిని ప్రతిఘటించి అట్టి మనసును స్వాధీనములో ఉంచుకొనుటకు రాజయోగం ఒక్కటే శరణ్యము.
To oppose that and pursue our activities, the Jnana Yoga is the only ati swadhinam, with bringing it within one's control, is controlling the mind. For that, Raja Yoga is the only refuge. Thank you very much, Auntie.
Saira.
Thank you very much. So Swami has covered some of these aspects also, I guess. So there was one line which I think, na premanu, Swami is also showing himself as the example. He's also that I thought we will discuss, Auntie. Na premanu, na manasika shaktulanu, nenu kendri karinchu koladi. Swami says by him focusing his love and also the power of the mind, నా భావము మీకు విశదీకరించు శక్తి ఎక్కువ. That Swami says his power to explain these things to us and also transmit his feelings to us also increases. So Swami is telling us when he is writing this, that he himself is focusing his love and his mental powers so that he can communicate this effectively to us. So actually, through that, Swami is also telling how we should also act in this world. We should focus love and also all our mental powers and focus them and concentrate. And through that, we will be able to successfully achieve anything which we want to. So I will stop here and I will open it up for discussion. So there are two questions, as I stated. Sister Vani's question about how the Nirakara, Nirguna aspect comes into being in this Raja Yoga. And the question from Sister Shivani, how do we apply this in our worldly matters? And I think Brother Sivadas also, I will just summarize what Brother Sivadas said. Brother Sivadas said, meditation needs a form and a name where we can focus and concentrate and meditate. And ultimately, when everything stops, when we merge, at that state, we are one with that Nirakara, Nirguna Brahman. That is the ultimate merger where we sort of become part of that or merge in it. I think that's what Brother Sivadas said. Brother Sivadas, if I have not summarized, you can.
No, even the Samadhi said not the final merger, even
Samadhi.
Even Nirvikalpa Samadhi stage, they cannot see the form. That's what in Dhyana Vahini also, I think, mentions.
Okay, thank you very much, brother. Thank you. So anyone else would like to comment or share your thoughts, please? Saira.
Sairam.
Saira Auntie, please go ahead.
So we have to go beyond Nirvikalpa Samadhi to become one with the Lord. That merger will take place, final merger will take place even after Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That's what Brother Shivadas is saying.
Yes.
So what I am saying was the form will vanish even during the Nirvikalpa Samadhi.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Okay.
But it will come back when we get down from the Samadhi stage now. Yeah.
Yes, anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please? maybe no one else is speaking, so I will say something. If anyone wants to say, please raise your hand. Today at our center, during the discussion, Swami is talking about fire, and also the fire has the ability to burn or do many things. But Swami says the presence of iron in a rod, which is put in the fire, that will be able to achieve much more than fire itself. And that's what Swami says. So, which basically the fire is like Satchidananda, which is Nirakara, Nirguna, Brahman, or whatever. But the name and form is like the iron, which should be heated by the fire. Then it can uh, be of much more use. That's what Swami said. So we discussed about electricity by itself will not do, but if there is a bulb or an electrical appliance, then only the benefit of the fire also comes through. So in the same way, the name and form focus, which is dhyana and ekagrata, will tap into that nirakara tattvam to flow through. That consciousness will flow through and be experienced. So the Raja Yoga doesn't directly look at Nirakara Brahman. Through that process of concentration and also dwelling on the Atmic principle underneath the name and form, the Raja Yoga practitioner taps into that Nirakara through that name and form. And once that experience comes, as Brother Sivada said, they reach that Samadhi state. And it's just an experience at that point in time, as Swami said, because the Nirguna Nirakara can only be experienced. It cannot be perceived or focused, or it cannot be meditated upon even. So this the way sort of we some of the aspects we discussed. I don't know. I will ask Brother Sitaram and Sister Vani who are there if there's something else.
I don't have anything to add, brother.
Okay, thank you, Sister. And then we will discuss Sister Shivani's question. She was asking about ADHD in particular, but it's a spectrum. Everyone is also suffering from some level of attention deficit. Because until we reach ekagrata, there's always distractions. And if anyone would like to comment on that, please do so.
Sorry, what was the question, brother?
Okay, I will ask Sister Shivani to repeat her question.
Yeah, thank you, Sainam, everyone. So, Uncle, I was asking, here Bhagawan has said through concentration, one is able to engage in whatever activity and their focus and, concentration of mental energy is a must through success and achieve whatever. So in this world, we say, as brother has said, of course, there are different spectrum of ADHD. We all have that. So my question was, so we label and we just treat ADHD with medications and all of those things. So can we, learning from here, it means if we train our mind, of course, whoever is a different spectrum, it is we can self-sustain means it is achievable that we can train our mind. That's what I want to say, that it's doable, it's trainable or not. People, those who have been diagnosed with ADHD.
Okay, thank you, Sister. Anyone would like to comment on it? If no one is going, maybe I will start at least. I will again go back to the discourse which we studied at the center today. It's a January 1st New Year discourse Swami gave in 2003. In that, Swami is saying there are two types of ailments. The external ailments can be dealt with by medicine, which we take. But internal ailment, Swami says, Atma is the only way to solve it. All mental related can only be solved or cured by accessing the Atman. Is what Swami is saying. Because Swami says if people focus only on Nama and Rupa, name and form in this world, which is impermanent, it's like a water bubble. We will always be experiencing pain of some kind. And people, it's like chasing the trees, branches and the flowers and the fruits in a tree. That's where most of the people are spending their time and wasting their life. But one has to learn to go to the root, which is not visible, and which is Atman, and that's what will solve all the problems in this world. That's what will grant us bliss. In the external world, it's all between pain and pleasure. So those are some of the, and I think here itself, Swami has said that millions of thoughts come and confuse the buddhi. So I'll stop here.
It's not the easy task, because this week, that after reading that, I was trying, and I sit down and do jyoti meditation, whatever. But this whole week I tried. It's not easy. For few seconds, not even minutes, for few seconds one can concentrate. But beyond that, there's so many. This mind is like full of thoughts and bundle of different thoughts. So yes, definitely it's a sadhana one has to take, and always be mindful of what's going on in their head. Just a thought to share.
Thank you, sister. Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
Sairam. No, I think one of the things that we were discussing this yesterday in our study circle at our center, unlike secular education where there is some kind of metric by which we graduate from one grade to another grade, Adhyatmika Vidya is seeming, because it's about ourselves, our own experience, we sometimes get into the state where no, we may not get into the state, but everyone feels it is graspable, right? But we forget that there are stages through which you can grasp it better and better. So even in this Ashtanga Yoga, there's yama, niyama, asana, pranayama. Then comes dhyana and dharana. So, the yama and niyama are such an important aspect of our daily lives. It needs to be incorporated into our daily lives, living an ethical life, living a moral life, living a life where we are not causing unintentional, definitely, hopefully not intentional, but unintentional violence to somebody, because any of these activities that we are part of, those thoughts will hound us the moment you try to sit in a place and close your eyes. And so these stages, and that's why the stages are prescribed in that order. Swami used to say, if you, I think for Swami used to say this for bhajan singers, he says, if you're going on shaking while you're singing and chanting, how can your internal be peaceful? Externally, if you're constantly shaking, so even to be able to sit still. So I think that those are some of the challenges to be aware of, rather than getting completely, what I would say is feeling completely discouraged that when I sit in dhyana, my mind is not able to focus and stuff. I think to be aware of the stages that are needed and to go through those stages and then focus on those stages before getting to the point where we sit in dhyana and say like, oh, I'm not able to focus. I think that might that may be a better way to tackle the realities. Is what I would just add.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you. Yes, Sister Shivani.
It's a very wild thought, but I'll share. My family was not around me for some reason during Christmas time for 10 days. I think I was able to sit, concentrate, remember God more often. As soon as they came, all that disappeared. So I know Swami has said you can't go in jungle and concentrate. You have to, but if my peace, my concentration, and I'm more connected by myself, then why can't people be by themselves? Why this world around me? Why I need to get into the world if I'm by myself and I feel more connected with him? Sorry, I just have to. This is my observation.
Sairam sister, maybe I will go first. In Dhyana Vahini, Swami says, when you want to learn to learn to drive, you should go to an open space where there's no one else, no other cars, and you can learn to drive. You can learn to drive. But that learning to drive is only for the purpose of driving on a busy street. So the thing is, we can, in an open space, there's no other cars, no other people, we can drive and we can think that we are drivers. But the whole preparation is only to drive in busy street. And that's what I'm just recollecting from the Hanavahini. So I'll just leave it at that. Anyone
Thank you.
else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Thank you so much.
Sai, sorry. So Brother Sanjay raised very, very, very important points. The same thing I was thinking last time also. So Yama and Niyama, definitely they are very, very important prerequisite for good dhyana. And also I am thinking of the other side, the jnana marka side, which also Sanjay was speaking last time, that the impermanence of the world, old, and when we grow, we become old, and so many impermanence of the things, and looking at, people are dying, and so that sort of inquiry also will strengthen this concentration. So the one side is Ashtanga Yoga must be regular and in progressing. At the same time, we can understand the impermanence nature of the world, and then we come to the full devotion, full surrender feeling to the Almighty God. So when we think that He is the only refuge, then the concentration more natural than by forcing. That's what I want to share. Thank you, Sayana.
Thank you very much, brother. Very valid points. Yes, Sister Aruna, please go ahead.
Sairam, I just wanted to understand from Brother Sanjay was mentioning about the bhajan singing, shaking, and all thing. Something you wanted to say, but you didn't say it. The everything on that bhajan singing side. Is it okay for you to say it, brother? Something you were saying about the bhajan singing side. Thank you, Sairam.
No, I mean, not too much detail, but Brother Aruno, you can also share some things. I think Swami used to be very particular. He has actually, in his own loving way, Swami has told, sometimes singers, he said, like, have you seen your face in a mirror while you're singing bhajans? And then Swami said, look at it. That's what I have to look at when you're singing. Meaning, implying, um, one, the shaking of hands, swaying wildly, getting, um, uh, getting too caught up. I don't know how to say it without, because I'm not at a stage where I understand what Swami wants us to be at. Because, sometimes when you start singing, you move a little bit, but I think What I inferred from that is th- there cannot be stillness internally without if there is no stillness externally. Um, uh, Unnecessary movements externally while um, it can be disturbing to oneself and also probably disturbing to the others sitting around. I think I'll stop there. Maybe Brother Aruno can
Okay.
add more and clarify because he was also around the same time when some of these incidents happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
Um,
brother.
so, okay, maybe I will also tie in with something else which came up. There's a 1973 discourse during the summer showers where Swami is talking about pranayama and pratyahara. Swami calls them antarmukha sadhana. And he says antarmukha means inward facing sadhana, pranayama and pratyahara. And because there's a famous Bhajagovindam verse, pranayama pratyaharam nitya nitya viveka vicharam. That also touches what the Sivadas says. Samadhi vidhanam, that entire verse talks about how do you attain samadhi. And Shankaracharya starts with pranayamam pratyaharam nitya anitya viveka vicharam. These are essential for us to get to samadhi, which is covered by, Brother Sivadas and, Brother Sanjay last week about Jnana Marga. But the thing is, before that, what I call Bahir Mukha Sadhana, that is externally focused sadhana, which includes Yama, Niyama, and Asana, which are essential. Asana means we have to be Sthira Sukha Asana. We have to be, our posture should be steady and non-moving, Sthira. And that's where Swami was very insistent. Even in the Bhakti Marga, where we are singing bhajans, Swami wanted the body to be kept erect. If any student, is trying to bend over or crouches, Swami would say, no, sit straight. Your spinal column should be kept straight while singing bhajan. Then Swami would say, you should not wildly move about. People get excited and move like pendulum, Swami will say, then your mind will not be steady. So it is like, whatever we are doing, if we, for example, even if you're riding a bicycle or something like that, if only we keep our body straight and in balance, we will be able to ride the bicycle. So that itself is a practice. So Swami was very insistent how we sit, how our back is kept straight and erect, and we should not be moving wildly. And we should not be moving our hands, everywhere. Swami would insist this also when we are giving talks or speaking. He says, even in your normal conversation, don't move your hands around too much. Don't, keep still. The body should be still as much as possible. So all this, as Brother Sanjay has already mentioned, unless we work on these basic things, we may not be able to get to the inward forcing sadhana. So I think that's so the foundation is the Bahirmukha sadhana, the discipline, the food we take, the entertainment we engage in, who all we meet with, and what all we talk. How do we keep ourselves still physically? Are we able to sit steadily? And all these are also foundations which are essential if the mind has to be steadied. And I think that's what Pratsanjay said. I hope.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So if we ignore some of this, we will not be able to make progress in our concentration, which is what Swami has talked about. I'm sorry. Sanjay, I hope I have complimented what you have to
No,
say.
absolutely. Thank you. But
Sorry.
with this knowledge, can we now go to our Sai centers and and hold tight to somebody who's waving wildly, right? Anyway.
So, just on a funny side, some students Swami spoke to, he actually stood in front of the students in the Bhajan Mandir and spoke. Okay. The next day, when a few fellows brought mirrors and they kept it in front of them while they were leading bhajans. To show Swami is they are trying to trying to put that into practice. And I think Swami told them, look at the mirror in the hostel and practice. You don't have to come and show it here or something. Well, I'll stop there. Yes, Sanjay, please go on.
I think Kalyani had a question also last week before these other two questions were asked, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
I think Kalyani's question also related to the worldly matters, I think. I don't know, Kalyani, you want to elaborate? Yes, she's not there.
I might need a reminder.
Yeah, I think you were asking, when Swami said, I think we read the Telugu part also, when Swami says, when you write a letter, when you read a book, when you walk on the street, when you drive a car,
Yeah.
is it the same concentration? I think it's the same question you
Mm.
asked. So
Yeah,
So what Swami was trying to drive home is that we already have that power to focus because we are doing this, at least a few things right in our lives. It is just a matter of taking that skill and applying it to dhyana and meditation towards the Lord. So the focus, worldly things which we like, we are fully focused. But spiritualities, I think. Kalyani, do you remember that? I think something.
yes. Yeah, I think I was trying to understand whether, because if ekagrata relates only to holding on to God as your highest one goal, and I think, and then I think Brother Sitaram had pointed out that there's two words being used, ekagrata and kendrikarinchu. Maybe if we could clarify kind of the difference between the two, that would be helpful.
Okay, I will ask Sitaram. Sitaram, which is the verb and which is the noun?
Ceremony. I think, as discussed last time, Kendrikarinchu is the act in which we try to focus on one thing without dispersing those thoughts. Though we may have hundreds of thoughts, if we are able to put effort to concentrate our mind on one thing, that action, that effort itself is called Kendrikarinchu. While that is successful attempt, then it becomes Ekagrata. Ekagrata would be considered as a state of mind where you're able to Kendrikarinchu to the aim that you want to concentrate on. So Kendrikarinchuta is necessary to reach the state of concentration. That's where we discussed last time.
Thank you, Sitaram. So one is the effort to focus, Kendrikarinju, the activity of focusing, and the end result is ekagrata, becomes one-pointedness. I think, Kalyani.
So
And
in
I
the
think
example
Swami is. Sorry, sister.
sorry, go ahead.
I think Arnama started the session with mentioning Swami as an example, right? I think Swami has given the secret there, saying, Na premanu, manasika shaktini kendrikarinchuta is one thing, but with love is what Swami is telling us to do. Whatever we concentrate on, if you are able to do with love, that is when Swami is able to vishadikarinchu to the devotees. He is able to elaborate on any topic with love. So I think that is the secret ingredient that Swami is sharing with us. Rest of it, I think everybody shares. How to focus, how to do meditation, how to put all the biology and physics, everybody explains. But I think the heart of it is the love, is what Swami is telling as an example. Saram.
That may be the marmam, Sitaram, in the Padyam.
Yes, sir.
Because Prahlada said he learned.
Yes.
His concentration was only on the Lord, full of love.
Love towards Lord.
Without yourself.
Yes.
Very nice.
That is marmamo, that is gamanamo also. Gamyam also.
Gamyam, yes. For love to love. With love to love. Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
Would you mind reading that specific line where Swami talks about that and maybe translate that again, please?
Okay, yes. Auntie Telugu.
You mean that Kendrikarinchu? That sentence?
No, Auntie, where Swami says how he focuses.
Okay, nimshu. Okay. Na premanu, na man. That was you.
Yes, Auntie. Yes. So, na premanu.
నా ప్రేమను నా
my love.
మానసిక శక్తులను నేను కేంద్రీకరించుకొలది నా భావమును మీకు విశదీకరించు శక్తి ఎక్కువగును. Swami himself is giving an example how
Yes, Swami is telling himself
with his mental all the mental abilities he has to bring it together and then focusing it, and then I will be able to convey my bhava much better. Am I correct?
Yes, Auntie. Swami wants to focus his love and all his mental powers. He wants to focus all of them, put them all together. So his love and his mental powers are all united and focused. And then Swami says, Na bhavamunu, my feelings, meeku vishadikarinchu shakti, my ability to explain these to you and my feelings, it becomes more.
Yeah.
Why is Swami using this language here? I'm a little bit want to understand it a little better, because the one who is omniscient, omnipotent, and why is he basically showing us how it has to be done by saying that? Because what does it mean for Swami to focus his mental abilities, right? Why is Swami saying that in here? If somebody can speak to that a little bit.
Very good question, Sanjay.
Brother Arunodin explained the first time. Actually, he explained very nicely about the Swami's. It is the love and the love. I think for others to follow. He's saying for us to follow in each activity, seva or dhyana, whatever activities. He's sitting in, as Brother Sanjay suggested, it is for us, he is saying. It is for us.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that, Sanjay, I also went back after last week study circle and had to spend a couple of hours trying to understand. So I understand where you're coming from. But I think the whole purpose of an avatar is to come down and show us and teach us how we have to live and how we have to do things. So in this case, Swami himself, many times he has said, I don't use my divine powers. Because I've come as an avatar, I use whatever is humanly in this body. That's what I use for doing anything around me. And so there he's doing it, and he's also telling us how he's doing it. The reason when Swami says many things, even the simplest of us are able to understand very high level concepts in very simple terms. That is Swami's love, pure love, which flows through and makes us understand. Without that ingredient, that secret ingredient, Swami will not be able to reach us. That's what I would say. I think so. He not only he does, but he also explains what he's doing. So that's love of Swami. That's what I would say. Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Saramana, I think for us the problem is to go from many thoughts to one thought, and for Swami it is the thing of coming from the no thought to one thought. So the bottom up and the top-down kind of a framework. Because at the same time, what is beyond the realm of the mind has to be put in the realm of the mind using words and all of that. So that aspect of love, which makes the intangible tangible, is where I think Swami is trying to put it across in that way. Because for a state of amanaska to come back to a state of having that one thought, which means the mind comes into being, and still get to us what is beyond the mind, is where the thing comes. So I think it's the other side of the coin. So just wanted to add that side.
So I think Sai Satish, I think that's why Sanjay is saying, then if Swami has already one thought, why is he saying he has to focus?
Yes, and it's to come from no thought to one thought.
Yes.
Thank you. I think maybe understanding it as in how in the younger days Swami himself sat and did bhajans, did arati, did the installation of idols and all those kind of things, just to show us how it has to be done and how one should follow the path. I think maybe understanding that way is alongside what you both said just now, I think, and even Brother Shivdasan said, I think that probably makes sense, because I was struggling with this. Why is Swami saying he has to do this, but I think understanding it this way maybe makes it settle a little better. Yeah, thank you.
So I think just to add to, I think some of the thoughts, what happens for us, most of us, is that we want to do too many things every day. We want to achieve 100 things. I think that is the biggest problem all of us face. Even in sadhana, we want to do 20, 30 different sadhanas every day. And we don't even master one. Because we are just jumping from one sadhana to the other. So I think to simplify everything in life, even from a worldly achievement perspective, and also in the spiritual path also, we have to have only few where we can fully focus and get benefit. And I think that's also an important thing. So I think every day we have to see, if we have 100 things, how can we bring it down to 2 or 3? And that is a huge challenge because we collect and clutter our mind with all sorts of thoughts, all sorts of activities. And we get unnecessarily distracted. We may go for bhajans, we sit in the bhajan. Mind is not on the Lord, it is not calm. That is because in our general life, we have filled our head with so many things we want to do, accomplish. I think that's why most of the rishis, they renounced. They had very few possessions, very few things they were doing every day. But they did whatever they had to do for longer periods of time. I think we fill our life with too many things, too many activities. Yes, Sister Vani.
Yes, brother. So they also say, multitasking is, superpower, but that is really tiring to the mind and the brain. And that's, even, neuro people also said that, just don't do that kind of too many activities, just focus on few things. So, it is even hard for us, just to focus on certain things. The things that we like to do, maybe we may be able to focus, but things like we may not that comfortable, then it is hard.
Thank you, sister. Yes, Sister Vani.
I'm just thinking on a practical note, yes, we have to, what you said, that so many thoughts, so many sadhanas, of course. And to minimize that, it'll take some time. So how about we do those until we really make a short list, or, that every task we do, we just see Bhagawan in that, or just do for him. Anything we do, maybe that will help us until we reach the point where we minimize our thinking, our tasks. That if I have to do so many things, even grocery, cleaning, blah blah blah, all of those things, I have to do it and calm myself down. But until then, I can just start seeing. I think that will be a little easier to achieve.
Thank you, sister. Just how long do you think project it will take us to get there, sister, in this
Knowing myself, maybe sometime, maybe this birth, but next birth I will definitely able to do. But no, I'm just thinking, just joke apart. I'm just thinking that just to start with that, because it'll be much easier. I have to do so many things. I have to do, but okay, let me just remember Bhagawan. I'm doing for him. I am seeing him in all those things. Maybe that will help us eventually. Yeah, how long will it? There has to be some timeline for sure. Can I just prolong or just for the year? So,
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts?
Sorry, Uncle. You were mentioning even when it comes to sadhana that we should try to reduce what we're doing and just focus on a few things. But I feel like whenever you get involved in like the Sai Center, like it's kind of the opposite, like pulls you in so many different directions. And say you even if you try to let go of one thing, like one role, something else comes up, or like so at the same time you feel like you shouldn't say no to some of these things. So what do you really mean by we should kind of reduce and focus on only a few things?
I will open it up for a discussion.
good question, Sister Kalyani.
Pardon?
I said good question, Sister Kalyani.
I will open it up for everyone and see how can we do this. Sadhana, I don't know, I made a statement, but I should not be arguing for it. I will ask others to comment on it first. Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
No, I don't think the number of external activities do not correspond to different sadhanas. External activities could be any number, but the sadhana can be just one that one is pursuing. Now, several sadhanas mean I don't know how one has to define it. What is different sadhanas? If there are several sadhanas, if we are all on the same path towards one goal, approaching all the different tasks with that one aspect that we are working on within ourselves. Like, let us say, for example, I am working on not getting annoyed with people. Doesn't matter whether somebody calls me for a service activity, or doesn't matter whether somebody calls me for we are doing 100 bhajans for centenary celebration, or doesn't matter somebody calls me for 20 other things. If the sadhana or if the goal that I am working on is that one thing, which is not getting annoyed at people, I can work towards that goal through all these various activities, time permitting, and my skill strengths permitting, right? So I think the two can be looked at differently. It's not one participating in 100 center activities does not necessarily mean I'm pursuing 100 different sadhanas. Is what I would add here and stop.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. Yes, Sister Aruna?
Yes, I go with the same thought of Brother Sanjay. The sadhana is one. Activities can be many, but whichever the activity is taking closer to the Lord is sadhana. So you do 100, and it's taking you to the God closer, then any role, any activity you can take up. So everything we have to take up to realize Him in everything and everything that we do. Sadhana, nothing to the activity is anything bring you to sadhana. That means sadhana is a connection to the Lord. Then you can do it. So that's nothing to do. I don't think it's anything to do with the number of activity. Even you do number of activity, too many things like we are reading study circle, then we are studying Veda, everything taking closer to it, then you can do any number of things. Kind of only I am looking at it. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Yes, Brother Sai Satish.
Sir Ramana. So there are two aspects. One is the activity, and second is the goal of the activity. So the goal of the activity is what becomes the sadhana, and the goal of every we say every river merges into the ocean. So every activity is to connect to that goal of essencing Swami, which is the underlying principle of what sadhana is. So based on what was shared by Sanjay and or Aruna's sister, what essentially happens is if I'm, let's say, taking up namasmarana kind of a thing, so that independent of the activity that is taken, the undercurrent of doing that sadhana stays the same. Is it? So the activity comes, but is that activity helping me go to the undercurrent of staying connected with Swami? And I think that's where is the challenges get tougher as we go along that path, because as we the reward for good work is more work. But if we perceive it as more work, that is one aspect, or as it's more of what Swami is giving us to see how much, despite that kind of a framework, how do we connect to him? We know the story of Parikshit, when Lord Krishna comes and picks up Parikshit, and Parikshit realizes it is the Lord, then he starts seeking only the Lord. And what the Lord does is he asks Nakula Sahadeva to distract the child with toys and so many other things. But what the child does is, despite whatever comes on its way, it moves all that aside and goes and seeks the Lord who is hiding behind a pillar. So if you're able to seek that Lord in every activity that we are doing and essence the joy in that activity, that ultimately becomes the sadhana. And or else it just becomes dana. We are collecting another activity. But the sadhana part comes to it only when we are able to seek that sa in that dhana, which is the sai in any activity that we do. So just wanted to add, Sarah.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Anyone else? So, others have, so I think I have to sort of clarify or explain my position. See, I understand the ultimate goal is for us to see the Lord in every activity. We should offer it to every activity. But I think what happens is when we are initially starting out, it's always good to focus on one activity and learn to see the Lord at least in that activity. Why I'm saying this is, for example, I want to learn music. So then I will say I'm going to learn vocal. I'm going to learn harmonium. I'm going to learn flute. I'm going to learn violin. I'm going to learn veena. Many parents put all their children in multiple activities like this. What happens is they may not be able to master uh, anything properly because learning a particular instrument, some is work with hands this way, hand movements are different. So we may even continue our lack of focus in everything. So ideally, it may be good to just focus on one activity, master it, and then transfer it to other areas. But what happens is in centers, Swami has given only very few activities for us. You will say bhajan continuous, every day, twice a day in Parthi, twice or three times a day. If people want to meditate, the Swami will say meditate. But there are certain primary activities Swami has already chalked out. But then what happens is, we want to do some additional activities because we are bored with the regular activities. So the thing is, then what happens? Sometimes we neglect even our regular activities. But if we will give the justification, no, that is also I'm offering to Swami. Then the question is, even Swami talks about this even in the name and form. He will say you have to have the same form, same relationship, same name, because that is the only way we can develop that ekagrata to some extent. That was my point. But if we generally we are busy with other activities, it's better to fill it with Sai activities. At least that way you think of Swami. But to get to the point where we seek Swami everywhere is a challenge unless it's mastered in one place. Swami will first say, you see the divinity in you. First experience and realize the Lord within you. Only then we can look at somebody else and see the divine in them also. The first place to master is it in our own self. Before that, if I say, I am seeing Swami in everyone, it is not possible. Our mind is just fooling us, saying that you are seeing Swami, because the mind is superimposing a form of Swami and say, I see Swami in that person. But inner feeling will be all agitated, so agitated by different people. So from that point of view, it's always good to start and master one activity and be able to see the Lord in that. And then, because what happens in centers, everyone is bored. They want to come with a new activity. Bhajan, we're having every week. No, so now let's do something else. And what happens is when some of these activities distract the mind, because then you have to think, okay, today we're having a picnic. So then who is bringing food? What is bringing? What is the menu? And there are about 10 meetings for that. Then there will be feedback of this kind and that kind. What happens is we spend all this time, spend the time without thinking of the Lord. But we will say, no, we are doing all this to offer it to Swami. Because sometimes the ultimate question is, after an activity, do we feel that we have progressed at least a step further? I think but I think what the Sanjay was talking about is, if I don't want to get angry, I want to practice every day, which in my view is not necessarily sadhana per se, but it is getting ready for the sadhana. But I also feel that sometimes the situation changes, we can easily get irritated by people because some new aspect of that person will come to the light. It's better if we don't look at some of them. We will be troubled. That was my point. But I think each of us have to choose what we have to do. But my point was initially that ekagrata means one. Ideally, in our life, we should only have one goal. Only one goal, which is what the rishis did. They gave up the world and went to the forest. And they completely dedicated their life was only for one activity. They did concentrate, focused, whatever they did. They did not go after the world and many activities. So I'll stop here, Saira. Yes, Sister Aruna.
See, ekagrata is to one pointedness. So I'm trying to see. So any service that you do, you have to have that concentration towards the Lord. That's how I'm seeing this. Like many activities, you take it up with an intention of connecting to the Lord, then you can do so. Otherwise, if that activity is not connecting as a sadhana is a connection to the Lord, then You can disregard that. Otherwise, I think that's the way I am looking. I don't know if I'm right or not, but that's the way. See, sometimes like Kalyani's question is, one role is after another role, another things. For me, if I have the time, and as Swami's work, we don't say no. It's to connect to him, right? So we take it up as long as the activity connects to the Lord. That's how I look at it. I just thought of sharing again. Thank you, Saira.
Sister, you said we should not say no. We should not say no to Swami, or we should not say no to somebody who is asking us to do that, some activity, and they will say, oh, you are doing it for Swami. But the thing is, then we have to tell such people, you can do it yourself for Swami, not, you don't have to drag me into this. See, generally people have this, this is Swami's work. Somebody will come up with some work and they will tell everyone, this is Swami's work.
Your conscience has to say that too.
That's all.
Yes.
That's all. That's the point.
Yes,
Okay,
that's the thing. That with that consciousness, if you see that you can do that, then please do, without making excuse for that. Thank you, Sarah.
Yes, Sister Shivani.
I am so happy that this discussion happened, because this was my question for Swami's 100th birthday. So many activities. And there was a point when I was like, if I'm saying no, what is happening? There's so many questions. I've just put it in that way. And I'm glad that discussion happened. But now I'm reconciling what we said a while ago when one of the brothers, they said, when you're sitting, Swami said, don't move, because external movement, your steadiness will definitely help you for your internal steadiness or calmness. So when we are engaged in so many activities, of course, your consciousness, your inner will has to really allow you to go and see something in that, not for the sake of saving the face, how it happened. Because in our center, that's what happened. There are limited people, those who are doing the same thing every place. And I believe Swami has showed 3 paths, like spiritual, seva, whatever resonates, wherever you see, that's why he has given in the Science Center. But what happened is only limited people are all over the place just to do activity, rather than engaging people, other people, those who are silent, expose them. Hey, you can choose whatever you want, try those things. But we end up doing for the sake of, that's my interpretation, I'm not judging anybody, but this is how I am feeling. Just check off, oh, it sounds good, or we are bored, we are not doing. So now I'm reconciling the discussion we had. Of course, we have to limit our activity, because it brings calmness, external calmness, external stillness will definitely help us to calm our internal self. Just to put my thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sister. Just to add another point, Swami has talked about 3 types of sadhana: tamasic sadhana, rajasic sadhana, and sattvic sadhana. Most of too many activities falls under what's called rajasic sadhana. And somebody will come up with some idea, and then they will force everyone else to subscribe to that. They think others have an obligation to support their initiative. These are challenges in centers. But I think each center and each person has to make their choices, whether that activity is. Because what we find is sometimes people overall so exhausted, then they will take a break from regular sadhana activities. So if that comes, that means it is actually undermining our progress, is my personal view. So I will leave it at, but each of us can choose and do whatever. Yes, Sister Vani, please go ahead.
Sairam, brother, I was able to find Swami's discourse, June 91 summer showers. Swami is saying the meaning of spiritual practice, sadhana, what is meant by spiritual practice: recitation of the name, meditation, devotional singing, yoga, good deeds, Do these constitute spiritual practice? Not at all. To transform bad into good is true spiritual practice. To turn sorrow into happiness is spiritual practice. That's what he's saying here.
Thank you, sister. Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
No, I apologize for taking the answer to the question in a different direction, but I think it's a very profound question in the sense. I think this is a malady that exists across, centers, and I think you pointed it out very well. At the end of the day, I think centers should reflect the schedule that Swami set for devotees at Prashanthi Nilayam. The activities of Prashanthi Nilayam and the schedule of Prashanthi Nilayam in our own personal life throughout the week and on the one day that we meet at the center. And anything above and beyond that has to be reasonably well thought out rather than just sprung up on the moment of somebody's, oh, this is 100th birthday, we need to do this, we need to do that. And as you said, and then justified by saying we're offering it to Swami. What are we offering to Swami? I mean, we would not offer a half-cooked dish to Swami, a badly prepared dish to Swami. Then, so do we compare those parallels when we take up so many activities? And I think Sister Shivani mentioned the same thing. If a center has 5 singers, why do we embark on a 100-hour bhajan or 100 bhajan activity? And then those 5 singers are tired by the next day and they have to, they're not available for the next 2 weeks. So yeah, I think it's a very valid question, and this probably entails a much longer series of discussion, and especially with Sister Aruna and everyone being here. I think these have to be high-level discussions that has to be kind of understood and disseminated into the centers because this is a common malady everywhere. Thank you.
Sairam, thank you, Sanjay. Yes, Brother Shivadas.
No, I have a question now here. It is for Swami or for the people? We are undertaking activities to reduce the pain of the people. So that's what Bhagawan said now, just before we discussed now. I was concentrating on this to put the love and concentration for the writing to become useful or powerful. No? So for Swami, actually, I don't see much meaning in that. We have to see the people. No? So whether this activity will make the people better, no? The feeling or otherwise is better. So if the activity is to make people make people better, better can be many definitions. That activity is useful for our spiritual progress also. So so that's what I am thinking that. Whether we say this is for Swami is the right word. You can please help me to understand what do you mean by for Swami?
Sairam, brother. It's a good question. I will let everyone answer. Because, what happens is we come up with one idea. Then we want everyone to support it. So the argument which we give is it's for Swami. I think that's what we find in centers. But anyway, I will stop here. Others also can come. And yes, Sister Shivani, please go there.
Two things. Last 1 month I have been thinking about in our general body meeting, should I tell them so many activists? So I'm glad Bhagawan is actually gave me the answer. Yes, go ahead and tell them that. We should not have so many because last 1 month I have been telling, should I tell them this? This is exhausting. People don't take position, come forward because they are so exhausted. They have a good heart, good intention, but all of those. So I'm glad that this is happening. And I think Brother Sanjay has said very quietly that there are directives, very clear. Swami is very simple. He believes in simplicity. He has given directives how spiritual wing, how education wing, how seva wing should run. But people create those, those multitasking, and we are so confused ourselves. We don't know what we want to do. Actually, human being, they don't know what exactly they want. So I think we create confusion for ourselves and for others as well. So thank you so much for the discussion. So I will go ahead and tell them in our general body meeting, we should not be having so many activities. So great. And just to what Uncle Shivdas has asked, that Swami's activity, my learning from this study circle, I don't know when we discussed, but everything is Swami's work. We go to work is his work. Anything we do, there is no distinction between center work is Swami's work and when we go to work is not his work. So if we see everything is him, then there's no distinction. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, sister.
Sai Ram, brother.
Sai Ram, sister.
Saram, I just thought of adding something because, exhausted, all kind of things. When we talk about in Swami's organization, I think Swami's work supposed to give always energize yourself. Exhaust mean we are going on that activity shouldn't be taken first of all. So if any activity is supposed to give you energize, give the Swami's message to others, make them happy. So there are for Swami's 100th birthday, so there are several centers has done um, different programs, different things to convey Swami's message. And the people who were part of it, they also learned his teaching and shared it with others. So, how we have to look at it, as long as we are not exhausted and we are happy and energized and sharing, and that is also, I think, it's a big service. So, say for a retreat, some people come and say the new things, and it gives everyone to contemplate on it. Yes, it's a different service, but there are a lot of work involved. But everyone has to enjoy doing that work. Offering to Swami. Offering to Swami, it means I always believe it makes me happy to connect to him. So that's how I look at the works. Just thought of sharing because nothing supposed to be exhausted in Swami's work. Thank you, Saya.
Sai Ram, sister. Thank you. So I think
Also, brother, I had another question now. You said that first we have to see God in ourselves first. So what is the step? What are the steps for that? Is another question. So what you said is what Baba said.
Yes.
What you said was Baba said. Actually, that's true. That is 100% true. But before we see God in ourselves, what are the steps for that? So naturally, the purification of the mind. So that is through. It is only through activities. So Shankaracharya, right? Even the Vedas Upanishad says, okay, the activities are for the purification of your mind. So that part also necessary. The activities, not only the personal, but for the outside people, activities also important so that we can cleanse our mind. So we cannot do away with that activities in this way also, no? What we discussed. So we have to first purify our mind through any sort of activities with whatever with an aim or without an aim. So after that only we can see that God is in ourselves. So through this text we cannot come to know that, no? So because lot of impurities in our mind, so we cannot see that. So there are two sides. Which for some we need a lot of activities. For some limited activities. And for some, as you said, those who went to the forest and, for example, Swami Purushothamananda, he wanted to concentrate fully on God, so he went in the cave and did. So these are the stages. Just I wanted to share it.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Anyone would like to share your thoughts? Yes, Sister Vani, please go ahead.
Sairam brother, today we talked about at the center there are two types of people. One is looking things, the external people, and then the one who go under the underneath and find out what's the truth behind all that is. So I would suggest that that could be how when we are doing some activities, if our activities are more of an external recognition, external happiness, external power, authority, whatever, and then the inner internal, or the going underneath and finding out the reason, those kind of stuff would be the other type of activities. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you, sisters. Thank you.
Sarah, I wanted to just because I think what's something that her auntie said was, you shouldn't feel exhausted, but I think the most exhausted I've felt like has been doing Sai Center activities. Like in certain times, they just like I think it does like physically exhaust you. So does that mean like I'm doing something wrong, or I'm doing something, like should something be modified?
Saira, I always think whatever Swami's activity, I know we are tired body wise, but mentally it's always give enthusiasm when you do it with the right mental state, and always you can do it. That's how my experiences. Even tired, even exhausted, that doesn't comes to my mind at all. It gives the happiness of focusing and doing Swami. And because you're connecting more and more to Swami, that gives the peace. That's all, just sharing. Thank you, Saira.
Yes, Sister Shivani.
Just to add to that discussion, see, we all are different, and in this world, in psychological word, we call extrovert and introvert. Extrovert get power, energize, feel content by interacting with the world, with people, doing very hands-on. Internal, those who are introvert, they find peace when they're themselves, right? They're more calm. They get energy by being by themselves, right? So I believe all these activities, as we have been discussing, in my understanding, nothing wrong, but something which exhausts you, because my power depletes when I go out, or whether it's any work, but I'm more powerful and my stronger and connected with God better when I'm by myself. But some people feel connected with Him when they are outside, connected with people. So I think it's a different personalities. Those who find that energy through different ways. Sairam.
Thank you, sister. Maybe I will just say this. There are sometimes what happens, we initiate an activity, sadhana. Generally, people initiate without consulting everyone whether they want to be part of it. Number one. Then once we start an activity, and if somebody does not show up, we think about it for hours, days, months. We think I have initiated, I am getting all the joy and energy and all that. But we are troubled that somebody else is not showing up. Then are we really getting up happy? I think that's the question which everyone has to ask. If for example, see, we should never tell somebody it didn't show up. That means there was an expectation on our part that somebody else will come and support something which I have started. Then it is not sadhana at all. Generally, if everyone is beaten up and wrought and we have done something, then we will feel we are happy. The person who started, who wanted to do it, may be happy. But everyone else will say, why was I dragged into this? So I think we should be very, very careful when we say that I was energized, but we should never say so and so did not show up. That means during the activity, we are keeping track of who is coming, who is not coming. Then that is not sadhana. That is not even offering to Swami. So sometimes we ourselves are not very clear whether the activity benefited us. The activity would have benefited us if only after the activity we only thought of Swami. Not about who came, who did not come, who did not do what they have to do. If we are dwelling on these things, that time itself is taken away from thinking of the Lord. Not only we think about it, we will also talk to others also about it. So I think we think that we are doing sadhana, but love itself is missing. Compassion is not missing, because everyone's life stage is different. Everyone's personal circumstances are different. So I think it's always good to have fewer activities, have less expectation, and think of only Swami, not about who came, who did not come, how well it was done, how it was not done. Then, and if you offer the best, even if it's one activity, Swami will say, you don't need to, come up with truckloads of flowers. One flower is enough. One leaf is enough. One drop of water is enough. God doesn't expect much. God doesn't expect anything. What He expects, as Brother Sivadas said, we all should look at the people who are coming to do such sadhana. They all should agree that this is a good sadhana. Not, they should not be forced. Then that sadhana will benefit everyone. But what happens is unilaterally, sometimes we start activities and not necessarily the best for everyone. It's not only for us also. I think I will leave it at that. I think we have talked a lot about Sahiram. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Sorry, just I'm not dwelling on it, but for Swami means always is for us. Swami doesn't need anything. We know that, right? Everything we are doing for Swami is for us. And we are wanted to be alone to connect. As you have mentioned, you learn to drive to drive on the busy street. So we have to see God in everything and work towards it. Yes, when you are planning a sadhana, you have to see everyone that sadhana will take you to the Lord. But for that, the coordination, you have to see the coordinating part is done nicely. It will work. That is a coordination side of it. But the activity that we are taking up, we shouldn't be exhausted with anything. It's supposed to give Swami's work, supposed to give always energize you, connect to Swami. Thank you, Sai.
Yes, Sairam, Brother Sivadas, please go ahead.
That I remember now. So when I was in the slot for the Ahana Bhajan, so for example, say my center is participating, and I have seen many times, so people say, oh, we did a good bhajan, our center sang very well, things. And so, are we planning to raise our name that we are good singers and go to the center and saying we did well than that center or that center? So as brother said, we see most of the time these people, our center leaders or whoever it is, they want to show their that they want to shine for out. We are the best. So that's what I said. Is it we are doing for Swami or the people intended. Now, for example, this study circle, very few people participate in study circle everywhere, no? So, the people, if they, even once a month, if they come and share in it, they will be better. But they cannot come, no? So, the activities is only not for Swami, it is for their the personal name or whatever it is, no? So, or for punyam. So, merit, I want Swami's merit, so I want to do that, no? So, this is what we find it. That's what brother is saying. Brother was saying very meaningful words that I have seen. Thank you, Sai.
Sairam, Sairam. Yes, Brother Sai Satish.
Sai Ramana. So I was just reflecting. So even in terms like what Swami would say that where there is unity, then there is purity, and then where there is unity and purity, divinity follows. So in that aspect, I think the first step of the unity part, where like you were mentioning, ensuring that everybody involved in any of those activities, they come together and with that united feeling make that decision. I think then that itself generates that part of purity, and like you said, essentially it should lead to that part of sensing or connecting to that Swami within. So and the first step again, that unity part, and I think even that unity also gets back to that thing as to what we were discussing earlier of ekagrata and kendri karinchuta. So doing that with love and then taking it all the way really connects back to Swami. So getting that first step right in having everyone come together and understand the purpose behind that activity and how it is really connecting to the Swami on the internal front itself will really manifest the purity behind that and leading to divinity. So just wanted to add that, Saira.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. I think there's no one single way to approach this. I think we should minimize the number of activities so that people don't feel drained. I think we can take that away. Number two, we should not expect everyone to participate in every activity. That's also unrealistic. Whoever is participating, if joyfully, if we take part, that's good enough. And hopefully, after each activity, we should have moved forward. And I think if we can look at it, we should be able to use the means available for our own benefit. I will stop there. It's 4:28. Today became ekagrata on activities. But it's okay. I think we need to all ask ourselves because people should come happily and joyfully through, as Swami always said, no force source. So I'll leave it at that. If anyone has any comments, we have a minute to say. Otherwise, we will come back. Hopefully, we'll go to Jnana Yoga from next week. Sire. So we will, I think it's about 29. We'll close. We don't want to go into the next yoga. Just focus on this today. And then we'll close. We'll close with Samastaloka prayer. Sairam, everyone. Om. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.
Thank you.
Sairam.
So
Thank you.